Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you another medium that I've acquired since I started my journey as an illustrator and surface designer. Here is the liquid watercolor. They come, a lot of companies make them. This brand is Ecoline and this is the liquid watercolor. This is number 311 and this is more of the red color. As you can see through, that is not too concentrated. And then you have another brand by Dr.PH Martins. This is the mahogany. And this is number 27B. This is the radiant concentrated watercolor. So definitely they have another one that is not concentrated like this. You could barely see the watercolor inside. It's very concentrated. I found this through one of my instructors on Domestika. And she used it for beautiful fashion illustrations. So I became interested in it because I've had this ones for a long time. And this one, I had purchased them from Amazon. There's 9 of them in here. Watercolor comes in different, ways. You have your watercolor pencils. This is by Derwent. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Derwent. Ink Intense. This you can use on the paper. If you use your brush and water, it's going to come out just like your watercolor that is in your palette. And this is very, very, since I've been using them, it's very, the hue it's very concentrated. Watercolor can also come in palettes. I have my Winsor & Newton. Trying to open it. This is the Winsor & Newton travel palette, and they come in these little cubes. I believe these are the half pans. And this one I liked it because I was using it. I didn't want to, when I started, I didn't want to use a watercolor palette that is expensive. I wanted something that was not too expensive so I can use it to practice my shading, my first layer. And this is another way the watercolor can come. And this one, sometimes if you run out of one of this color, you can just pop it out. Let me see if I can get one. You can just pop it out, and either you get the half pan and you drop it in here, or you can get a tube of watercolor. I'm going to grab another one here. Many brands have the watercolors in tubes, like my Mary Blue. So another option is, if you don't want to get the little cubes, you can put this in here, open it, and fill it in there and let it dry. So another thing that I've also found is a lot of people also use this watercolor sticks. And this is Daniel Smith extra fine watercolor stick. Some people too, when they don't want to buy another of those watercolor that goes in there, they cut this. You see, they put it in here, measure it, and cut it and drop it in there. And it's also very concentrated. I got this white because this is titanium white. I got this white because when I wanted to make little details on my illustrations, I use this, and it's very concentrated too. So I am going to be using the watercolors to show you how it goes and how the concentration is depending on the brand that you're using. So come along as I show you. This is the demonstration of the Ecoline and the Dr.PH Martins black Indian ink. So I'm going to be using these two mediums to create a fashion illustration. I found out about this oil and acrylic by Katzens. This is the 136 pounds, and it has the, let me take one out. it's very rough. I don't know if I put it up close, you can see it. It's not smooth. The instructor that I took my class first mentioned that this, because of this, the texture, it absorbs the watercolor ink and should I say Indian ink very well. Or she recommends the aquarelle rough. I think this is also this is 140 pounds. This one also has the rough surface. It's not smooth, but because she also recommended that it absorbs water. So I'm going to be trying it on this Cadson's first to see how it absorbs and how it goes on the paper. So I'm going to make my illustration and then I'll be right back. So guys, I'm going to be swatching out these colors for you, and I'm going to be telling you the name, writing down the names. One thing I like about this color is that this, I would say Indian ink, it's that you can dilute it. It's just basically liquid watercolor. And I'm going to be starting with the 311. This is the Ecoline Liquid watercolor. One thing I noticed is that this brand is good, but definitely the Dr.PH Martins, it does way better. It's very bright and it spreads. So this is 311. I've put a little drop right here, and I have water on my sketchbook here. This is the Strathmore Art Journal, and this is the 140 pounds. So I got this on Amazon, and I'm just going to show you that one of the ways you can use this Indian ink is, number one, you can just put a little bit of water on your paper, and then when you use your brush, if you drop it, it's going to spread. As you can see, I don't know if you can, I'm going to bring it up close to you. It's going to spread on the paper because it is wet. See how it's moving? So it's going to spread, and and you can dilute it right here. So I'm going to rinse it out, and I'm using my Escoda Prado size 12 brush, and I'm going to add more water and spread it out right there. So you can you can dilute it like that, and I'm going to keep adding more water. So you see how diluted it is. But one of the things that I always complained about with these mediums, I don't know what it is with me, I am very sensitive. I had to purchase the Dr.PH Martins so I can see if I'm having a reaction to it. Because when I got this Ecoline, I started having like a bitter taste in my mouth, and I just remembered that I have not used it for a long time. And as I've touched it again, it has touched my skin. I'm starting to have some kind of a taste in my mouth. That's how sensitive I am. Now I'm going to try the Ecoline Liquid Watercolor 236, and this is it right there. I'm going to do this dry. My paper is going to be dry and on wet. So this is it, just with application on the paper without any water. So you see how it looks? I'm going to rinse my brush and dilute it. I'm pulling it. Okay. And one of the things I do is that I don't, a lot of people, artists or illustrators, when they're illustrating, they have like a piece of tissue in their hands. I just have a lot of scrap fabric that I cut in pieces and I use it. So if I rinse my brush, instead of using tissue, which I feel is, waste of resource. If I finish using it, I'm going to have to keep using tissue. I got this scrap paper, fabric, or I got this from Temu. I just keep it right here, and it's it's supposed to be a wet brush, so I can swap my brush here. But you just have to drop some water in here, and you can use it. But I've had it here for long. As you can see, it's dry. So when I want to use it, I just add water to it and I use that. But just if you're environmental environmentally conscious. You don't want to and then save your money too. So with the scrap fabric, I can wash it and you reuse it again. So now I'm going to go for 205. And I'm putting a lot on my brush. And this is wet on wet. Pulling it. Diluting. And that's why I like these two glass jars that I'm using for my water. I like it that they have this little indentation. So when I rinse my brush, I can pull the excess water out from there. This I got from Etsy. And this, you will not believe, I bought it from Temu. It has a lot of indentation, and I like it that the reason why I like it is that with this one I feel restricted, but with this one I have a very large surface to run my brush through, and I can just take out the excess water. As you can see, the excess water just goes out like that. I don't know if you can see it up close. See how it goes out? And why I did a lot of review about the Escoto brushes, I really like using it, is that it holds a lot of water. You don't have to keep, it holds a lot of water. I'm the one dropping it, but if I want, as you can see, it's still dripping water out of it. It holds a lot of water. And I've enjoyed using it compared to the Princeton brush, but I don't have an issue with the Princeton brush, but I love this Escoto brushes. So now I'm going to Ecoline 337, and it's like a pinkish hue. And you can see it's spreading too. But one thing I'm going to definitely say from my observation is the Dr.PH Martins color are so vibrant. They are so vibrant compared to the Ecoline. So the next one is Ecoline 600. That's supposed to be green. I prefer to add the water because I just like to see how it would react. So I'm just adding a little bit of water. This is the green. So it's moving over here. Dilute it. Adding more water. I don't know if I'm going to be using this brand for a long time because of the reaction I'm getting. Next one is 704. This one, I don't know what's it. I don't know if because I've had it for a long time. It's supposed to be a gray hue, but it's very light. This is it right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me move this closer. As you can see, it's very light gray color. Dilute it. And that's it right there. You can barely see it. So now I'm going to the next one, which is the Dr. Martins Concentrated Watercolor Mahogany. I'm going to show you, this is wet on dry, and you can see the color. It is so beautiful. And I have to, when I finish with this, I'm going to have to wash my hand, and I'm going to just maybe tomorrow try using this Dr.PH Martin alone and see if I get any reaction, because I have a class that I just took, and I saw my instructor use it, and it's so beautiful, and with fashion illustration. And so that's what I really want to be able to mix different mediums of Indian ink, watercolor, my pencils. I've had some of this, my markers, Prisma watercolors. I have a lot of them. And I have also my Prisma watercolor pencils. So I would like to use a lot of these mediums in creating my art. So let's move on. The next one is Ecoline 700. And this is the black for the Ecoline brand. So that's it right there. Oh, sorry. Let me bring it up close. It's like a dark gray. The next one is Ecoline 507. This is supposed to be like a dark, let's say dark blue. And it dries fast. That's one thing I like about it. It dries fast, but I'm going to be careful so that I don't probably use this next page, but it's not dry yet. So I'm probably gonna let it dry for a while and be right back. So I'm gonna be continuing now with the Ecoline 507. And I'm still continuing with the wet on wet. A little bit of water, drag it out. More water. And you see how it just disperses? That is so beautiful. So if you want to make abstract art, I would say this is this is a medium that's very good for abstract art. I'm adding more water and I'm pulling it. And you see how you can make it transparent. You don't have to add any more if you want to, you know, make your illustration lighter. The next one is the 578, and it's right here. And this is like the, oh, excuse me, I forgot to add water, like the turquoise color. Add in water. Then we add, drop, oops. Okay, I'm gonna take this excess off here. Just gonna use my towel. Okay, I'm gonna put it right there. And also, you know that you can use your brush to lift up excess paint on your paper. You can dip your brush in water, tap it a little bit on a brush, on a fabric or towel if you prefer, and just lift. You can just lift excess paint off of your paper. And sometimes you might have to rub it over and over again and repeat that process to get the, if you made a mistake, to get that off of the paper. And now I'm going to be doing the 416. Still on wet on wet. This is like a light brown. I would say not light brown, but dark, not too dark brown. Let's see, I'm making a mistake here. I have to lift this off. I'm gonna try to fix this one here. Okay, and I'm gonna do the last, but second to the list. I would say, no, last is the last one. This is the Dr.PH Martins Matte. And I'm going to show you how beautiful this is. I really like it. I'm going to drop it so I make sure, even though I have it in my palette, but I want to make sure that's the right one that I have. I'm going to drop it in the middle here, in the center here. And they all come with a like a pipette in them. So I'm just going to add more water in my paper here. You will see how this spreads so beautifully. And here we go. You see that? That's why I said it is so, you know, that it's very, very concentrated compared to the Ecoline. And it's still spreading. It spreads on its own without you having to move it. That is the difference between the Dr.PH and the Ecoline, and I definitely would recommend it. I'm rinsing my brush, and as you can see, it's still moving. It's still moving. I haven't done anything to it. That one drop with my brush, it's still moving all the way down there. I don't know what formula they use, but wow. It makes your work you just want to do more things with it. And it has like this, it's just different. It just moves smoothly with little effort. And it's granulated. So, and as you can see how it's, even after moving my brush, I can still drop this just from here. I can take more and look at what we're getting from this. So definitely recommend this Dr.PH. This is the matte, the Black Star waterproof Indian ink. And I'm just going to clean this off here so that I have that gradient that we had going for from the beginning. So this will not just be the different one. Using my brush to lift up the excess watercolor. And that's it, and that's all I have for you. I definitely will be doing more illustration, but I want to do one last thing. I'm going to make a circle. Let me show you what you can do with this. For those of you that like maybe drawing planets, this is a very good medium. I want to show you what it will do when you create a circle. I'm thoroughly wetting my paper. And then I go for the ink and I'm just going to drop. You see that? And if I lift, you see what? It spreads to the areas I only put the water. It's just amazing. I would definitely recommend this. And it can create different art for you. And once it dries, you can add more colors, different colors to it. You can add, if it dries, you can layer it once it dries. And also you can use your watercolor pencil or just a regular pencil to do any, or to make any more illustrations on it. This can be used for different things. So if it dries like that, I can always come back, use my watercolor pencil to create maybe like, it looks like a moon. It's just like, as I said, those of you that like, you know, the planets and the, you know, that likes different things that has to do with the planet. So you can use these colors to get beautiful illustrations. Or you can, this I did with my hand. I just used my hand to make the circle. You can start with a compass, draw a slight circle with your compass, and just make sure, then go around with the water, and then you continue. Just first of all, you do with your brush, and then you just drop it in there, drop your colors in there. So see it, and you can see I'm adding a different shade of black. But there's a difference. I believe that what I have in here is not the PH Martins. So it's, I can see it's not moving compared to when I take this one. You can see how it's moving. It is a beautiful color. So definitely, as I said, tomorrow I'm going to try, because I'm really having different taste in my mouth, and I'm going to see which is the one that is giving me this weird taste in my tongue. So thank you guys for watching, and I would leave the links to where I got this from on Amazon. They're quite expensive, but I would definitely recommend them. And I believe I don't know if there's a difference between the radiant concentrated and the matte, but I just know that this black, I got the black because I saw one of my teachers use it, and she just recommended it. So take care, guys, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye.